Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and today I will try and describe my CoCSlam build in some level of detail while showing you what an Atziri run looks like. Let me start out by saying build is not that good for Atziri. It's not bad, because it's, on the upper ends of gear, because it still shits damage all over the place. But the problem is, you scale AoE so much, and you're so based off of momentum, i.e. power charges, frenzy charges, flasks, that the Atziri fight herself just becomes kind of shite. As you can see, Trash is an absolute joke for the build, and everything up to Atziri is actually just really easy. Because Atziri herself is what cock blocks you with the fact that you have to do several phases, you don't really have reliable power charge or frenzy charge generation, and the mirror just plain gets hit by all of your shit. So it forces me into strict EK only attacks. Meaning I get rid of Glacial Cascade and I get rid of Bladefall and I just use EK. Meaning that's like 10% of my actual damage and it just sucks. But it's still doable, it's just not that great. That said, let's get over the build. Go over the build just a little bit. So, CoCSlam is cast on crit ground slam. As you can see, we're slamming the ground, and we have it attached to cast on crit and multi-strike. That gives us plenty of attacks and procs. Attached to our cast on crit is Bladefall, pretty goddamn OP. Glacial Cascade, also fairly OP, but mostly there for just strong single target, as the AoE isn't terribly girthy. And lastly, Ethereal Knives. Now I've chosen those three spells because they are all fizz and they help to scale your damage through hatred, spell power, and other such things. Bit of fizz as well here or there. You can go a less fizz-based setup, but Bladefall and Cascade I think are your staples, so if you add a third spell, like let's say Firestorm, which is a pretty good choice, you're not really going to be scaling terribly well through Hatred with Firestorm. Likewise, if you go Anger or Haste instead, you're getting less out of it than you are from Hatred, because Hatred is such a large multiplier for your Bladefall. These are the spells I've chosen though, and they work pretty well. It's up to you which spells you would choose for the build. I just went with these. My chest of choice is a Carcass Jack to help scale the AoE even further for both spells and the Ground Slam. So my Ground Slam covers quite a lot of range right now and helps you get a lot of procs. As you can see here for Atziri, I had to take out both Cascade and Bladefall. Well, Bladefall I'll be taking out later for the split phase, and pretty much EK will be my main source of damage. Now, one other problem here is I don't have Life Leech attached. So, all of my Leech and Sustain comes from Flasks, and Atziri herself has an inherent bit of Reflect. So I can't really attack her without losing too much health unless I have Flasks up. And I've decided to sub out Cascade for Power Charge on crit, just so I can get some more comfortable crit generation. Which brings me to my next point. Crit on this build is pretty fucking hard to get. That is because you are using a Scepter. It's got about 7.5 crit, since it's a vegan Scepter, and that's about as much as you're going to get on it. And Mace and Scepter passives suck balls for crit. You get something like 60% from them, whereas if you compare it to Dagger passives, you get like, 150, something like that. So Daggers have much higher crit, they've got a crit implicit, and they have much better passives for crit. That makes getting a crit on Mace pretty goddamn hard, meaning I rely largely on power charges, that's why I have 6, and also on the gear. So Malagaros, Rat's Nest, crit on an amulet, they're not really flexible options on this build at all. You more or less need them, otherwise you just won't have enough crit to make your casts consistent, and consistency is the name of the game when it comes to survivability. So I'll go over the passive tree and the rest of the build as far as a guide goes. just so you guys can get an idea of what I did, how you can follow it, and maybe you want to tweak it a bit for yourself. So by no means is this the definitive guide, just more of a guideline. So I'll try to go over this fairly quickly so as not to not bore you too badly. CoCSlam is a witch, level 92. It can start as a Templar as well, not quite as efficient as a Shadow 2 or as a Scion. Pick your poison wisely. I went with the witch just because it's got general spell damage which applies to everything, and because I wanted to slam the ground as a witch for a novelty effect. The passive tree goes just about everywhere. So you start out by going pretty much over here and then probably to the Templar area, then down to the Shadow, getting as much crit as we possibly can throughout the entire build. As you can see, we try and get crit everywhere, over here, but the tree doesn't get all that much crit, thanks to the fact that mace nodes are really, really shit. See, 25, 20, and 20, that's all you get, as opposed to daggers doing all of that and all of this, and usually you'd be on this side of the tree to get that too. But I end up getting about 83% crit without a crit strikes gem, and that's with all my gear and power charges up. It's enough to be consistent, as well as that we have Assassin's Mark rolling all the time. But we get a fair amount of life, get a fair amount of crit and spell damage and shit like that. But the life is quite necessary because so much of our gear doesn't have life, since we need to wear a rat's nest, need to wear some Malagaros, and some shite Elrond jewelry. But it's not all that bad. Plus we are dual wielding. So now let's get through to the gear. A Karui Scepter is my best bet. You can go for something slower and more crit based, but I thought this is the most well-rounded one. A Vegan one is probably your best choice. It completely negates the need for hit, any sort of accuracy, and it's well worth it. Multi-mod if you can, pretty good stuff. Rat's Nest, not really debatable. Malagara is not really debatable. A crit and crit multi amulet, high life, that's ideal. Try and get some of that going. Now, to cover my mana cost for Ground Slam, I went with 2 Elrond rings. Minus 15 total negates the entire cost of Ground Slam and lets you reserve your entire mana, but then you still have to deal with Whirling Blades just a little bit, and whether you choose to Blood Magic it or attach reduced mana to it, it's entirely up to you. Point is, minus 15 covers the entire cost. I currently have minus 13, 2 mana cost. It's not a big deal to me because I have Hatred attached to Enlighten, which leaves me with just a smidgen of mana unreserved, and that's enough to slam the ground continuously. To generate power charges, we have Assassin's Mark, Herald of Thunder, Curse on Hit, and Herald of Ice. That gives me pretty much permanent power charge generation throughout mapping. If you're doing curse immune maps, sub out Cascade for power charge on crit. As I mentioned, this is my 6 link. If you don't have a Vinctus, you're going to need to drop probably, not Bladeful, EK, and attach Life Leech. If you don't even have a 6 link, then you're probably just going to be Blade Falling with Life Leech and a 5 link like that. Vinctus is my entire sustain at the moment though. It essentially means I don't need a Life Leech gem. If I couldn't get a hold of that, a Life Leech would cover it just fine, and I would of course grab a Vile Pact. Otherwise you will be one-shotting yourself to Reflect quite routinely. Belt, high life, high resist. High life, high resist on your boots. Now as far as an offhand goes, I think the best offhand is basically just a Chris. Basically a spell damage Chris. This is the same thing I used on my Blade Vortex character. You get 80% crit implicit, you get some damage to your spells, you get a whole bunch of crit for your spells, you get crit multi, which is very important, and spell damage, which is very important. It is my choice of offhand, and on top of that, it lets you Whirling Blade. Pretty good stuff, IMO. Taste of Hate, not strictly necessary for this build, but it does give you a good amount of damage to your skills as well, since we are largely Fizz based. So as you can see, when we pop our Taste of Hate, Bladefall is doing the same amount of cold damage as it is Fizz, so it's doubling up quite heavily thanks to Hatred and Taste of Hate. On top of that, Atziri's Promise is pretty useful for extra chaos damage, a whole bunch of chaos there, and it synergizes with Vessel of Victor for extra leech when you're doing your Vile Pact Leecherino. That's about all there is to know about this character. I will let you figure out the rest, I suppose. It's not too much of a beginner cast on crit character. I would say this one requires a bit more gear than the others, but once it gets up and rolling, it's probably one of the strongest for mapping I've come across, since you just straight up delete everything in the game that you come across, and it's got absolutely insane clear speed and damage. I'll let you guys figure out whatever else you want though. Feel free to change up the build however much you want. The core principles are Ground Slam, cast on crit. And it's pretty good fun. I'll also now leave you with a core run, which was my first core on this character. First T15 on this character even, I think. And it went rather well, but that's largely thanks to a certain talisman that lets you face roll. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope it wasn't too boring, and I'll see you next time. Fuck 'em. Hey pawns, RAP. Nerd alert. Power charges, I'm getting through Curse on Hit with Assassin's Mark. The best build. I don't have the best build answer for you, dude. There's plenty of viable builds that do exactly what you're asking. You gotta pick one. Nice, got a shrine roll. So essentially, I'm going to be trying to momentum my way through to the bosses and kill them quickly. Actually, I forgot a Curse Immune Flask. I was going to grab one of those. If it goes well enough, rallies, yeah, maybe. I was going to grab a Curse Immune Flask just for Dodri. Kill her quickly, but that didn't happen, so fuck. Sick empty map, bro. No idea what we got in here. One of those, okay. Pretty tanky. I'm getting stunned too much, and I just died to Thorns, I think. I'm pretty sure Thorns would kill me there, but I can't tell if my flasks wore off or not, if that was the problem. In any case, do I have a Curse Immune Flask? I love belly music. Yeah, me too. I think it's legit. Not sure I actually have one. Yeah, well, fuck 'em. I don't really care. Would involve me relogging to another character. Who's really got time for that? Ow, dude. Completely counter shaft stones. Well, I was thinking it should be able to. This build anyway. Because I hit hard enough, like I hit really fast with lots of spells, yeah. But I hit hard enough that I think I should be able to out-leech each piece of thorns that I'm taking. I just couldn't tell what actually happened there. Like, I think my flasks may have run out, and that's why I died to thorns. Because I was definitely near the end of the flask duration. But I, yeah, didn't pay enough attention to notice exactly what went wrong. to watch it back another time. I definitely thought I should be able to face tank it. Is that enough flasks? That's probably enough flasks, I don't know. Alright, whatever, we'll try this shit. Permacast. Ran out of Taste of Hate, so that's pretty squishy. Oh, got her down. This map just genuinely sucks as a T15 for like value. You know, as far as monsters, pack size, XP. It's like just one big old novelty map. Because of, you know, challenging bosses and whatnot. That's probably the biggest Malagari fucking I've done on any character. Dude, all that poison. Ah! Don't touch me. I feel like regaining a bit of life. That'll do. God damn it. Yeah, and that's pretty much the map, like, it's just weak. You gotta run back and kill like individual shitty skeletons that spawned past you. Who's got time for that? No one. Alright, I predict quite a few deaths. I don't think this is actually gonna work on the first phase. Oh. So I predict many deaths, because I'm gonna get frozen too. I don't have a freeze immune amulet. Oh, flask. So I don't know how I'm gonna actually push him through here. Fucking hell, man. Well, there's a first load of flasks wasted. And we got nothing out of it. Yeah, I couldn't take that. I knew I couldn't. And it also crit me. Like I couldn't dodge it. I tried. Yeah, I was pretty sure in this second phase picked it up, but tried anyway.
Embrace the future.
Embrace it. It's also really hard to actually see anything. Like traps and shit once I'm going. As my build's rolling. Ah, fuck. Apparently there was a trap there. Alright, we just gotta get to the next zone, and then Dead Hand Cheese can be a reality. Oh, get the fuck out of here! What does it do? It makes him spawn a shitload of, ads so I can sustain my flasks and increase my proc rate, I suppose. Second phase should be easy. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to like split off and kill hearts and shit as well, so that might make it a bit iffy. But you would think once he's got a Dead Hand Talisman on him, it's doable. Pick it up, you nerd. Take it. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I think I'm gonna die. Look at how many traps there are. I had actually nowhere to run at this point. Well, anyway, we've got our flasks up. So now I should be able to kill them off. Maybe. I don't know. Fucking just traps are the dumbest thing in this fight. Yeah, I just got comboed. Yeah, good luck, eh? Ooh, that freeze really takes care of me. And that's no good. If I get like frozen for too long there, I'm pretty much just done for. There it is. Ooh. Frozen! Oh god, that was rough. Like how past a certain point, you actually can't see what the fuck's happening at all. Freeze! Freeze! So long! Oh. What is happening? I don't know, man. I think I'm dodging shit sometimes. Oh, I might be dead.
You are being selfish.
Fucking okay. Hey, my talisman. That one portal left, man. Actually managed to pull it off. It's just so dumb. I don't know, this fight sucks in core. Some of this, like, it could be good, I think. It could be pretty Atziri-esque in that it's just a challenge and you can overcome it with skill, but some of the mechanics make it fucking impossible to beat skill-based, I think. Traps just continuously stacking and stacking and stacking, for example. Sometimes not being able to see traps underneath these things. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not the build that did this. Like, the build's good and all for mapping, but It's not the build that killed Core Malachi there, it's flasks plus dead hand cheese. It's 100% cheese that killed it, not the build. So, you know, I can be somewhat proud of the build for other reasons, certainly not for killing him just then. It meant nothing.